The WNBA continues to get the kind of attention they shouldn't want. All right. Again, Colin Cowherd is making a point to talk about the WNBA again. He does it now multiple times a week, but only when it comes to one player, or in this case, one player and what it is the rest of the league is doing to her.
So now, trading Caitlin Clark is actually being talked about for real. Just when Indiana finally starts to catch its breath, Colin Cowherd comes in and pours gasoline on the rumor fire like it's his 9 to 5. The guy always has hot takes, and this one could ignite a full-blown basketball war. Is he over the top? Of course. But is he completely off? That's where things get interesting.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting. The pettiness has no bounds. For years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated, and then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like. When the wave hits, ride it. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted sold-out arenas. They got it. I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this.
Here we go again, watching the WNBA find new ways to self-sabotage like it's a competitive sport. Forget building rosters or growing the fan base. They've apparently moved on to organized chaos. And now, the latest brilliant idea? Trade Caitlin Clark like she's a collectible card and call it strategy. As if that wouldn't set the entire league ablaze. Not just Indiana. This move would torch the whole operation in a spectacular display of mismanagement. Let's be real, this is clearly a move to cut her down. Look at the fan voting. Clark's number 1, hands down, with the most fans in the league. But media voting? She ranked 3rd. That actually makes sense. She's not having her best year. Her shooting's down, and she's had a few off games. But even so, she's still light years ahead of the other players they put above her. Here's the obvious truth. Trade Caitlin Clark, and you're not just hurting the fever. You're destroying the league's only guaranteed cash cow. This isn't about losing a player. It's about losing the entire storyline. Clark isn't just running plays. She's carrying franchises on her back. Half the WNBA owes its relevance to her alone. Every ticket sold, every jersey printed, every headline written, it all has her fingerprints all over it.
This is clearly them cutting her down, because when you look at fan voting, obviously Clark is 1, right? Because she has the most fans in the league. So that clearly biased. You go to the media voting.
She was 3.
She was 3. That actually makes sense.
I agree. She's not having the best of years this year. She's actually, her shooting is down.
Exactly.
There's been a number of situations that she's just not played her best ball. But she is still much, eons better than a lot of the other players that they voted in front of her.
A university finance professor actually calculated Caitlin Clark's value to the WNBA. And honestly, it's insane. Last season, as a rookie on the league's worst team, Caitlin Clark generated 26% of all economic activity. Now she's got an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike. Merchandise sales shot up thanks to a rookie from a Midwest school on the worst team. Imagine tossing all that momentum into a FedEx box. That's the kind of move that makes fans throw their remotes, cancel season tickets, and start watching pickleball out of pure spite. Dumb? No. Historically stupid, with extra sprinkles. I'm not taking my eyes off the WNBA in the next 2 weeks, while Clark's out with a quad strain. And here's the thing. I'm not claiming anyone hates her personally. This isn't about Clark. It's about what Caitlin Clark represents. Clark has been phenomenal from day one, dominating in college at Iowa, coming straight into the pros with no break, and doing her thing flawlessly. But now, the league is floating trade rumors like it has a surplus of stars to gamble with. And if that wasn't enough, the coaching setup looks like a soap opera plot twist. The same coach who once watched Clark get poked in the eye during a game is now conveniently her boss. What's next? Bringing in the trainer who iced her ankles to run conditioning? This isn't subtle. This isn't a coaching decision. It's a setup, dressed up in lanyards and clipboards, sending one very loud message.
A university professor in finance looked up the value of Caitlin Clark for the WNBA. This is insane. So this year, last season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was 26.5% of all economic activity as a rookie on the worst team in the league when she entered it. So now she has an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike. So, she's going to eat. Merchandise in the league went up off a rookie from a Midwest-based school on the worst team in the league, 230.
Silence the star, dim the spotlight, and call it for the team. But we all see what's really happening. Caitlin Clark didn't just get benched, she got politically sidelined. And the front office? They didn't just hire a coach, they handpicked the coach. The one with a resume full of selective justice and passive-aggressive rotations. Let's be honest, Clark doesn't fit with this coach, and that's putting it lightly. Their basketball chemistry is like oil meeting a dumpster fire. The system isn't built for her, it actively rejects her. This isn't a clash of styles, it's a cold war in sneakers. And the fallout is clear every time she's yanked from a game while a random benchwarmer racks up minutes like it's charity work. Clark had another on-court confrontation recently, and it raises the question, why? The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one I underestimated. I didn't think any one player could shift the trajectory of college basketball and the WNBA this much. For comparison, think Tiger Woods, changing the game, dominating the spotlight. And now, a league that finally has eyeballs glued to the screen is pulling the stunt. Why? Control. Control the narrative. Control the star. Keep fans entertained, but not empowered. A player with real leverage? That's dangerous. Disruptive. Unbenchable. So, what do you do when you can't stop the momentum? You hire someone who can. You slap on a polite smile, call it player development, and watch the only thing that develops be a bad reputation and an angsty fan base with receipts. This coach wasn't just hired, she was positioned. If the conspiracy vibes feel strong, that's because they are. This isn't a normal rebuild. Clark isn't in a growth spurt, she's in timeout, like a toddler coloring outside the lines. Make no mistake, this isn't about basketball. It's personal, strategic, and very political. And here's the kicker. Everyone acts like this coach is playing it safe, like there's some grand plan. But safe would mean using her best scorer, not duct taping her talent and hoping fans don't notice. Even officiating seems to be figuring out how to handle her, like Shaq back in the day, fouled endlessly yet unstoppable. Clark's impact is undeniable, and the league knows it.
She doesn't always get the consistent great star whistle. I think they're still kind of figuring out how to officiate her. Right? Like I've said this for years when I covered Shaq and went to Shaq got fouled more than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, it was insane. People bounced off Shaq. Jokic complains constantly, like people are bouncing off me. She doesn't quite get as favorable a whistle as you think. So I think
neither does Steph too. That's the
felony. Caitlin Clark walked in beloved nationwide, and now the league treats her like a threat. Fans ranked her number 1, media number 3, players number 9. Pure jealousy. She's driving ratings, ticket sales, and national attention, yet she's benched, babysat by a coach with a vendetta, and slowly erased under corporate buzzwords. This isn't about basketball, it's control, politics, and PR theater. If Clark finally walks, she won't be the villain. She'll be the escape artist, leaving the league scrambling without its star.